What's up, Mi40 Nation? Here's a video for you on progress, on charting where you are as far as the continuum of muscle building. So everyone always has a end result in mind. You have a goal, you have a place you want to be, a way you want to look, and you are where you are right now in this journey, but some people don't really know where they are, where they fit on this continuum. So I'm going to try to take some time in this video and give you guys an idea as to how to put this continuum together, how to conceptualize what the continuum looks like, and maybe place yourself somewhere along the continuum. So as I speak about a lot, step one for everything is execution. If your execution sucks, the likelihood of you building muscle is zero. So spend as much time as necessary to build muscle, to focus on your execution. That's important. And so one of the issues that we see now that comes up is there's some people that focus so much on their execution that they disregard the necessity of load. So the process of learning execution requires you, by necessity often, to use a lesser load, because when you actually start using your muscle just doesn't have that tremendous ability to use heavier weights like you thought it did. Previously you're using other muscles, you're using inertia, you're slinging weights. When you actually start contracting your muscle only to use a weight, it's hard. So you'll end up using less weights to start. What we don't want to do is we don't want to stay there. We don't want to stay on using light loads. So what I want you to focus on is first start with light loads, improve your ability to contract, try to train your brain and your nervous system so that it becomes unconscious. You don't have to think about those executions anymore. And here's a trick for you, or here's a tip. It's never going to happen. It's never going to be to the point where it's perfect always. You're always going to have to go back and relearn things. That's okay, but that's an important realization to make. Once you've mastered, or once you've come close to starting to master execution, you need to start progressing up your intensity of contractions. So oftentimes what's going to happen is once you start increasing the load, something else is going to break. From a perspective, when I say break, I don't mean hurt. I mean something else is going to get fatigued first. So this is where the idea of stabilizing your environment comes in. So pay attention when you're doing an exercise to what is moving other than the muscle that you want to work. So when you're really fresh in the workout, you feel good, you got less energy, maybe nothing else moves. But as you start to fatigue, something else will start to move. So you're training your biceps, your scapula is going to start to move, or shoulders, you start to come up. You're training triceps, you're training pecs, you're going to start doing this, this is most often what breaks for everyone in upper body, which is just depression of the scapula, which is your lat and your mid-trap. But pay attention to what happens first, and then train that skill. Train that muscular pattern. So if it's depression of the scapula, whatever it happens to be, train it. So if you're doing a squat and your lower back hurts, well, why? Maybe my range isn't right. Maybe I'm rolling too much in my spine, whatever it happens to be. So paying attention to those types of things is your second opportunity for progression, because you need to increase your muscular ability to contract. You need to increase your muscular ability to do work. And if something else is breaking before that muscle, then you can't do that. So I need to try to start my workout with an unstable environment, meaning my muscles are stabilizing the exercise. And once that becomes fatigue, then I'm going to use an artificially stabilized environment, meaning I may throw my scapula against something, or I may use something to depress my shoulder to artificially stabilize whatever's breaking first, to allow this muscle to continue to work hard. That's important. So that's a second step. From there, we want to start working on, there's different levels of muscular systems that can be stimulated or that would tend to break first. So we have what's called muscle lactate, which means like that your specific muscle's ability to clear lactic acid. And then we have systemic lactate, which is your entire body's ability to clear lactic acid. Then we have your ability to do work over time, volume. Then we have intensity, which is like strength of contraction, not strength of weight lifted, strength of contraction. And all those things are potential next incremental bottlenecks for you. So if they're limiting factors for you, that's what you need to train first. So introducing all these concepts of, hey, where do I go now? What should I do next? So in the Mi40 Nation site, we have 15 to 20 programs, each of which is going to address a different one or different couple of these stimuli. So know which one is breaking down for you and then address it with this specific program. Right now we're in the process of developing what we determined to be the perfect 8-month progression. And it's going to be kind of a choose your own adventure based on these variables. So a super, super cool concept of everyone that comes into the site we usually can get an idea of approximately where you are. We're gonna have you answer a few questions to give you an idea of where to start in this journey. But ultimately, everyone kind of needs to go through these certain number of progressions, and it could be a different one at a different time for everyone, but for the most part, it's a very few number of variables that you need to account for. So here's a thought. If your execution is great, the next step is, well, how can I get my muscle to do the most tremendous amount of work possible without allowing it something else to be the limiting factor? You want that muscle to be the limiting factor as far as hypertrophy, not something else. Think about it. Once you've achieved that, your muscular contractions are going to go up, your body's going to grow. Stabilization is vital. Once you are able to achieve massive muscular contraction, now we can start building things like volume, things like increased intensity. Those are subsequent steps to contraction and intensity of contraction. Ben Pakulski for the Mi40 Nation.